the nebula of dreams and lore, Uncle Chunk's got tales galore. With the mighty beard, a hammer strong, pop culture legends where we belong. Chunkcast roars like a cosmic storm. Movies, comics, games, we transform. Uncle Chunk leads the way each night. Through the stars we take our flight.
Yes, hail to you, and welcome to Chunkcast. Indeed, it is I, by the might of Mjolnir. I am the king of this realm, Uncle Chunt. I hope you are all being great ones to you and yours. Thank you for including me in your day, and let's get stuck into some things tonight, huh? I've seen another movie. We've had a lot of game reviews and game things released and announcements and all this kind of stuff coming out over the last week or since I uploaded last. So I figured let's just jump in and talk about some of it. Oh man, there's a lot to go into. I've structured it a bit more tonight because there's a few things I want to cover and I'm going to keep myself on track. Indeed. So anyway, I hope you've been well. It's my second upload for quite a while and consistency's kicking in. I'm 2 more chapters to go on my Kujibo and Harold book 2. I realized when I got to the last 2 chapters, I finished illustrating the last page of the chapter I was working on earlier today. I'm like, cool, man, I've got the whole afternoon to smash out the illustrations for the next chapter, and opened up my Word doc with all the pages like detailed out. And I realized the next 2 chapters, I've only got the overview done of like what's going to happen in this chapter and then that chapter. And I was like, great. Okay, cool. So yeah, kind of put the brakes on a little bit there. So I had to take a bit of a back seat and just write them. It's a bit hard to finish a book when you haven't written the end. So anyway, but it's just, learning, still learning. There's always opportunity to learn something. But no, it's exciting. I'm pretty keen and pretty chuffed with how it's progressed. I've tried a few things in this book that I haven't really done before, or I thought I'd just give it a go. And it's turning out okay. I think so anyway. But yeah, so I'm almost done. My deadline is end of July, at least, to get the pages all illustrated, because that's when I'm moving. So I just want to get it all done before then, so then I've got time just to plan out the release and publishing it and all that after I move. It'll give me something to keep myself preoccupied as we sort out the new place or the next place. But yeah, cool. Anyway, if you want any more updates on that, just keep posted on my socials or unclechunt.com or coralink.com. And yeah, keep you posted, mate. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, look, I saw a movie the other night with a wife called Disclosure Day, and I just want to talk about it. And that's what we're going to do. Yep. Yes, here we are. Okie dokie. So Disclosure Day. Look, let me just say, Steven Spielberg plus John Williams usually means something epic and unforgettable and not high stakes, but high value kind of films, that are timeless and everybody reveres them and all of that. So I'm just going to start off by saying, look, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. All right. It felt like this is what movies used to be like, and hopefully you understand what that means when I say it like that. Movies today are so shooty, bang, bang, noise, action, not much time to just let scenes marinate or let the audience understand what's happening. Most movies are so spoon-fed these days that when you get a movie like this, which is done like by one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, Spielberg, that his movies don't spoon feed you. They take you along on a journey and a story, and it's done in a way that you feel smart right? It's done in a masterful way. Now, part of my criticism for this movie is out of time. It just feels like it was made for another era, and it doesn't belong, right? It's just either he's losing his touch, and that sounds really hypocritical of someone who's never made a movie before, but as a movie watcher, movie enthusiast, as you could say, it just felt out of time, felt out of place. Now, does that mean his filmmaking language has run its course? I don't know, but I enjoyed it anyway. Unfortunately, the first hour is a very slow burn. Very slow burn. And I can't say that the ending is a payoff either, which is disappointing. I really enjoyed what the movie was trying to do. I enjoyed the message that it was trying to tell. Like it played that duality of religion versus science. You know, are aliens included under God's like creating supreme beings and stuff, like considers us supreme beings, you know, but is that just humans? Is that everything? You know, and it goes into that pretty blatantly. It literally says just that to you as the audience. There were some scenes that it felt like the movie was literally just talking to us as the actors were just the vessel of like, this is the thought that we want you to have right now, because that is the conversation that these two actors are having right now. It felt like it wasn't a natural discussion between the actors or the characters on screen. It just felt like it was trying to tell us the story, like literally, right? This is what you're meant to be thinking right now, right? It's hard to explain without spoiling things, but yeah, look, there was just a lot of that. I appreciate the messaging, and I appreciate what the movie was trying to do. I don't think the execution paid off at the end of the day. I walked into this going, cool, another Spielberg movie. It's been a long time since I've seen a Spielberg movie that I really enjoyed. And I thought this was going to be something else. I thought it was going to be something different. I think they lent too long in these two characters in particular finding each other in the movie. I don't think the tension was there enough to warrant the payoff at the end. Like Spielberg knows how to build tension in his movies, and he still has it. Maybe it's the script that was letting him down or something, right? I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, because there's a good movie in here, and I think it just needed a bit more finesse, a bit more time in the oven. I will say though, some of the zeitgeist around this movie was, you know, is this movie getting us ready as the general masses of Disclosure Day? Like, for real, because it is kind of happening. And I'm not going to go too far into that whole wormhole and that rabbit hole of what's actually happening right now in the world. But, you know, with all the UFO files and stuff being released, and they're being drip fed to us, where this movie, it's about that, like what happens to the world if that actually did happen. Like, how would the world absorb that and accept it? And I think the movie didn't handle that realistically. I think the movie handled that in a very optimistic way, I'll say. Where I can't see the world that we're actually in. I can't see the world being so calm. I'm really dancing around stuff here. Spoilers for the movie if you want to see it. Yeah, it just, look, and then it just ends. Like, there's stuff happens at the end, and you're like, oh wow, okay. But then it just ends. Now, I understand the ending, because it finishes on one word, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it finishes on one word. And I understood what it was trying to do in that moment. I just think we needed a bit more time with it, with what was happening at the end. We just got there, and all of a sudden it just ends. So yeah, look, I'm really not trying to spoil things here, because I think it's a movie that you should go see if you do have a genuine interest in, well, Spielberg movies as a whole, but in just the topic at hand with what's happening today, it just seems to be very coincidental that these files are getting released and this movie was already made while this is all going on. That's why I kind of do buy into a little bit of the talk of this is all very coincidental, all these things happening at once. You know, yeah, I don't have any tinfoil handy, but I want it to happen so bad. You know, I'm one of those people. I want it to happen. Just get it over and done with. It's like the worst kept secret. Just tell us, you know, if it's a thing or not. Just tell us. If it is, just throw it out there. I mean, the world's going to hell anyway, right? You know, I don't know how the world proceeds from where it is right now. So just throw it out there. Maybe that'll be it to make everybody wake up. Just put it out there. Anyway, I'm not going to go too far into it, as I said. But that's what made me feel like when I walked out of the movies, when I saw this movie. I was talking to my wife about it, and we're debating about whether the world would be ready or not. And my perspective is we're not going to be ready until you're made to be ready. Just like everything, almost everything in life, you're almost never ready for it until it happens to you. And you've got to face it and do something about it. So just do it. Look, there's a bit of fantastical stuff in this movie that I didn't think was fitting, right? And I think if this was made in the 2000s, early 2000s, maybe even like the late 90s, like I think this would be better. I know a lot of people are saying this is best movie in a long time. I disagree. If this is the best movie he's done in a long time, then I'm a bit worried about that as far as what he's contributing now to the movie world. But look, anyway, maybe I'm just a bit pessimistic about it because it just felt like, come on, this movie could have had more to say, and it could have really lent into the discussion more. Like if you look at War of the Worlds that he did, you know, I'm saying that I want aliens to come down and shooty bang bangs. We've seen that a million times, but get more into the ground of it. Get super grounded with it. Like what happens, like leading up to it. The whole lead up and the chase of the characters was surrounded by so much magical sci-fi. Yeah, I know it's aliens and technology and all this kind of stuff. Like all that discussion is part of the movie, but I think if you took that out of it and made it more of a grounded thriller, you know, sprinkled in with actual recounts, like real world stuff, like I think it would have made it more tense and more of a suspenseful movie. Where this one was just too airy fairy fantastical. I think that took me out of it a little bit. I expected a bit more. But that's just me. That's just me and my perspective on it. You know, it is thought provoking, but I think it was it played it too safe. I guess that at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to say. It tried to do something, but it played it too safe. And why is that? Like, why? Spielberg would know all kinds of stuff. He knows a lot of people. He's a big name. He would know some stuff. You know, he's getting old. Like, come on, maybe, you know, if you're an old fella, just put something out there that really rattles the cages, you know, like, come on. You know, what's going to happen to you? You might get disappeared, but like, whatever. You've left a mark and a legacy. I don't know. Tinfoil hat. I'm not wearing one. I'll take it off right now. But anyway, yeah, that's my kind of thoughts and reviews on it. As you can tell, like I'm kind of meh about it. You know, I went in not knowing much about it because I wanted to be surprised, and I wasn't. I guess I was surprised by how much I wasn't surprised. Anyway, cool. Sorry to be a downer at the first one off the gate, but let me know what you think. If you've seen the movie, you know, leave me some comments and tell me what you thought about it. And we can have a chat about it. Cool. Well, just to shift gears completely from movies, we're going to talk about video games now. So stick it out. Summer Games Fest just happened. So I want to just talk about some things that happened over the last week about it. Yes, let's go. Alrighty. Summer Games Fest. Look, I don't have the biggest opinion, or a favorable opinion, I should say, of just Jeff Keighley. What I will say is I appreciate what he does. I appreciate what he's built, and that he's turned his little showcase into what we used to know as E3. So we still have this kind of mid-year Christmas, Gamers Christmas every year, and I do look forward to it. And I must say, the last couple of years, I forgot completely about it until the week of. I was like, oh, damn, okay, cool, this is happening. I totally forgot. So it was nice. And Summer Games Fest in Australia happened over the weekend. So Saturday morning was when it kicked off, I think 7 a.m. So I woke up and watched that live and then just followed the coverage throughout the weekend. And then we had Xbox on the Monday and Nintendo on the Wednesday. PlayStation State of Play happened before it, but that was kind of meh anyway. So I'm not even going to bother talking about that. But what I really want to talk about is, look, there was a lot of reveals. There was a lot of stuff. Some people have said online that it was the best Summer Games Fest. I disagree. I don't think it was the best that we've had in years, but each to their own. I will say the major reveal at the end being Final Fantasy VII Revelations. I was stoked to see that. I played Rebirth. I played that on the PS5. I haven't got around to playing Rebirth yet, but I'm going to play that on Xbox because I sold my PS5 for Legion Go 2, and I'm going to play them all on Xbox now because they're Xbox Anywhere titles. So why bother buying them on PC? Because I can. I think they were on sale on Steam, but I may as well buy them on Xbox because I can play them on PC anyway. So I'm looking forward to getting through Rebirth. I haven't played it because I'm waiting for all three to be out. I enjoyed Remake so much. I think that was a masterpiece. I loved it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was an immaculately made game. And you can tell it's been made with a lot of love and care. All the interviews with the developers, you can tell they love this. They love this game. They love these characters. So yeah, I played through Rebirth on PS5, and I realized when the second one was announced, Remake on PS5, when I realized Rebirth was announced, and, it was good to see that they're continuing the games and they're making a big trilogy out of it. And so I was just going to wait for the inevitable Xbox release, and this is being released day and date on Xbox as well as PlayStation and PC. Not sure about Switch, but it doesn't matter. Not playing it there anyway. But man, I like these characters are so iconic, right? Even back to the PS1, that was such a huge deal, massive deal. I don't know if some of you watching this were even alive back in the PS1 era when this game came out in the 90s, I believe it was. No, not the 90s. Oh my God. What am I saying? When this game came out in the PS1, I remember I've never played like a JRPG before or a turn-based game before, and we knew this kid down the street who had a PS1 and had this game, and we went over and you'd have sleepovers and stuff, and you'd be watching this game like, oh wow, like I've never seen a game like this before, and it was so different, but so it felt so fully realized, like from even though the pre-rendered backgrounds, but the characters, the world, and everything that was constructed, and even the combat. Like I was like, what is this? This seems super complicated, but as you get older, you understand it's not. But it was one of those games. I think everybody had one of those moments when they interacted with or was aware of Final Fantasy VII, that this was something else. 3 discs. Oh my God, that's huge, and like cutscenes and all of that is a big deal. So this has a lot of reverence in the game industry, in the game world. This title, Final Fantasy VII, which I think Square's been chasing that same thing ever since, but they've never had another Final Fantasy VII. I would argue Final Fantasy X. I love that game. Final Fantasy X, just one of the best JRPGs I've ever played, even to this day. I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 15. I know it's not perfect, but I love that game. I got a bit choked up at the end of it. I'm not going to lie. It was really good. The Royale edition in particular. Anyway, so yeah, look, I have a place in my soul for Final Fantasy VII, even though I wasn't one of the people that played it myself back in whenever it came out. I can't remember the date, but I was too young. too young, wasn't working. We didn't have a lot of money, but I saw friends play it. So now when Rebirth came out, I've had plenty of opportunities to play Final Fantasy VII over the years. I know that, and I have done. I have played the original game, just not when I was young. But now when it's come out, when I played Final Fantasy Rebirth for the first time, it just had that same feeling of, oh, this is what it felt like to me. When it first came out, like this fully realized experience, and it felt real. Like the world was real. The world building was real. It felt lived in. Very tangible characters in the story. So yeah, anyway, I'm so excited to see that they finished this trilogy of work. Crazy. I know there's some fans of this game and the lore about Final Fantasy VII where they just big brain everything. Like there's so much in here that they can see that people like me or you perhaps don't see. Like just little things in trailers or throughout the game that they pick up that we don't see. And that's awesome. It means that the people that built it loved it. Yeah, and they're like them. And they put everything they could into it. And you can tell. So yeah, I'm super excited just for that. We don't have many things like this come out these days, that have this much reverence, this much effort, this much love. And it's good to see. So yeah, look, anyway, I'm super excited to play this one. I'm happy to see that it's finally announced. I thought there was a bit of talk. The reason why I'm making a point of this is I thought there was talk over the last couple of years, whenever the second one came out, that it didn't do sales expectations, whatever. And there was a risk to even making the third one or finishing the third one. And I heard all these rumors and stuff, and I wasn't too sure about it. So yeah, I was a bit on edge about, oh man, am I even going to finish this? Because the cost of game development these days, is it too expensive to finish? Like if they're saying it's not meeting sales targets, but here we are. So anyway, and they're saying like it's bigger than Rebirth. So well, here we go. If you've played these, let me know as well. Please don't spoil anything from Rebirth. I haven't played it yet, but if you have played those two games, let me know what your thoughts are. Have you enjoyed them? Like, do you have the same opinion of myself, or do you think Final Fantasy VII is just overrated? Let me know what you think. Anyway, this next one I want to talk about is Gears of War. Oh boy, you can't see it, but I've got a shelf down there with some Gears of War collectibles, collector's editions, and cog tags and statues, and I've got a 1-to-1 chainsaw lancer over there. I love Gears. I had a bigger collection than what I've got right now, but I've sold a lot of it, most of it, over the years just to make space for all these bloody Transformers I've got. Anyway, I knew this game was coming, but I just forgot about it, right? And then when they said we're doing an Xbox Direct or Xbox Showcase with like a whole half of the showcase dedicated to E-Day, it's like, oh boy, yes, here we go. Sounds like they've got some faith behind it. At first, I'm not going to lie, when they announced the game, I'm like, cool, another Gears. Cool, it's a prequel. Okay, I'm down to play that. But Gears of War Judgment on 360 was a prequel as well, and that was a bit disappointing. But this one, man, let me tell you, I'm really excited to play this one. Really excited. I don't know exactly where it's going to start. I've been trying not to spoil myself. Like, are they going to go into the whole discussion about what Marcus did in Asio Fields? Like, is that part of the game? I don't know. He obviously gets his gear armor back on again, right? So at the start of the first Gears game, Dom comes and busts Marcus out of prison, right? Does this bookend the first game, right? Because if it does, my wife and I are going to play this co-op, and if it does bookend the first game, they recently remade the first game, right? So we're just going to get straight back into that one. Just finish that one and then straight into that one. Just have a big Gears weekend of co-op with the wife and I. Look, I'm super excited. Gears of War is one of those games where if I ever feel myself getting not as excited anymore about gaming, anytime there's something new for Gears coming out, it does stir those things. And this did. This feels like the 360 era of Gears. The way it looks, the way they talk about it, the way the gore looks, because progressively the game's got less gory, and it's a fact. You can go look at it. There's actually compilations on YouTube with people proving it, right? The first game is pretty gory, and this one feels like the first game. I'm not saying the gore is all everything that's meant to be with Gears, but it's just literally part of it. The whole visceral experience of Gears of War, right? And unfortunately, Gears of War 5, as much as I enjoyed it, it was a big blockbuster game, no denying. But it felt like it's just gone too far off of what Gears was. And you know, a bit of the open world type stuff, which it just doesn't work. It didn't work for me. Just give me an action-packed linear experience, just like the original trilogy. Just put all your eggs in one basket and just throw it at my face, you know, for a good 10 hours or however you want to make it, and just kick my ass, right? That's what I want. Just give me that. You know, don't try and modernize it for whatever reason. Just, you know, what worked with Gears, and just do that again and again, right? While progressing the story, of course. I mean, I love these characters too. I'm so happy to see that they're leaning into the whole Dom and Marcus aspect and the origins of that. That's really going to hit it home. I think that was a super smart decision. You know, Marcus back in the front seat again. You know, it's not anyone else, right? I think that was a smart decision to go back and focus on those two, right? And it's, you know, they got Bravo team. It's not Delta Squad, but it's Bravo Squad. And there's two new characters or something in there, but it's just good to go home to that kind of. I miss those characters. I miss that world. I miss those games. Like Gears 4, it tried, but it wasn't as good as what it was. And Gears 5 was just more of that, but bigger, right? So I want a Gears 6. Like, don't kid me wrong, right? I want a Gears 6 because I want to see what happens. Like Gears 5 ended on a like, oh my God, kind of cliffhanger, you know, and that was like 120 years ago now. But what are we going to do with that? Because in this video, they're like, hey, this will shape how we handle Gears going forward. So if you're doing a prequel, when you say going forward, does that mean, are you just going forward in time from there? Or are you going to skip back to Gear 6 and course correct? Pardon my sniffling. But like, oh man, just it's a lot of questions. Super excited for it. It looks amazing. When we're living in a world right now where games are expensive, super expensive, and consoles cost 5 times as much than they did when they launched, and you can't build a PC unless you've got a spare 5,000 sitting around just to spend, dump on a few sticks of RAM and a GPU. You know what? And you've got Sony and Nintendo and Xbox raising prices on their consoles, and then trying to talk us up about what their next console is going to be and how they're going to be priced. But then when a game like Gears E-Day comes out and it's showcased the way it is, and it looks absolutely stunning. Like, what else can you do? Like, yeah, give me a more powerful box, but what am I going to get from it that you can't do right now? The games look the best that they've ever been, right? And I think they're only just starting to really squeeze that performance out of these boxes now, right? Yeah, this is going to be a long tail generation, but that's fine. That's fine. How much better can games look than this? Like these characters, go watch that trailer, go watch that gameplay demo and the cinematics and the environments, and it's super photoreal, man. Yeah, it's still a bit fantastical because of course it is, because subject matter at hand. But man, what else are you gonna do? Like, what else? It looks insane. Looks insane. Like, I just be happy. Like, make do. Just, I don't know, put pause on things. You know, stop putting new boxes out. Just give us more better games, right? I don't know. I can't see things being more prettier than they are. You know, I guess people didn't know that, like myself, over the years anyway. You know, because you go, oh, wow. Super Nintendo to PlayStation 1 to PS2 to 360, like everything, there was always this graphical leap. And like, oh, wow, we didn't realize how good we had it. But now we've got something even better. We didn't realize that games could look way better than that, right? But we're hitting this, or we have hit this diminishing returns arc, right? Where do you want to spend $1,000 on a box and you're going to be playing the same games on it, by the way, you know, and it'll be a couple of years or so until there's a game that comes out that fully utilizes that box. Like, come on. Like, we're here now. PS5 and Series X consoles cost in Australia, like $200 or $300 more than what they did at launch. For what? I don't know. You know, I don't know. Games aren't coming out any faster, right? They're still just as expensive, if not way more expensive. And that's going to slow down everything, right? And 45,000 layoffs the last few years or whatever in the gaming industry. Anyway, talking about Gears here and trying to be happy and excited about some games coming out. But it just, you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, when Gears 6 comes out, am I going to have to buy that new box, right? Or is it going to be okay on the Series X? Like, how far along are we? I don't know. But I've got the same questions about Halo, Campaign Evolved. I haven't seen too much about this purposefully. So when I saw this on the Xbox showcase, it looked beautiful. It looked stunning. Like, I was like, oh, wow. Even my wife was watching it with me. She's like, oh, wow. That's what it was meant to look like this whole time, right? When you go back and play the original Halo, it's like, yeah, I mean, the design is there, but now it's like, okay, we can do so much more with that design. Everything looks so much more rich, so much more pretty, you know, so much more shiny, so much more like the lighting and colors, and like it looks incredible, right? So again, it's like, how much better can Halo look? Halo's never looked that good, right? I mean, unless you go back and play Halo 2 Anniversary Edition. I mean, that game, that's peak Halo right there. But yes, will I be buying Halo Combat Evolved or Campaign Evolved, as this one is called? Again, I think I've bought it 2 or 3 times now over the years. Yes, I will, because this has 3 new missions in it, and I think they're all prequels that lead into the actual first game. I love that. And the video content that they showed was showing us some of that, where you've got Halo and, oh man, the name of the guy just escaped me. The captain dude, this is a guy. God, I forgot his name right now. People are probably screaming at the screen right now, but just a bit more like development of how they know each other and their history as they like go through a mission and all that kind of stuff. I think that's cool. I think that's really cool. And it's a great idea. If you're doing remakes of games, right, the best thing you could do is add to it. Not just give us the same game with a slick new paint, coats of paint. Give us something new for it. You know, add an extra mission or 2, or I don't know, add some more cutscenes that helps flesh out parts of the game that you've listened to the community on that they don't make sense on, right? Or just something. And this is a great way to do that. Yeah, we're remaking the first one, but here's 3 new missions that build on the story that you've never seen before, and that's awesome, right? Excellent, great reason for people to buy it again, right? Well done. I can't wait to play this. It's actually out later this month. I totally forgot about it, right? So I'm keen, and it's also not a full price game. So yeah, there's a lot of positives here. This is great. Yeah, we need more of this, please, right? More of this. And then later on, speaking of like Halo and Generation 1 and all that kind of stuff, right? They put this reveal out of this new Xbox. Oh boy. Like, I was just ranting and raving about the costs of consoles and hardware these days. But, oh man, I'm not going to lie. I want this. I want it. I want it so badly. Like, I think this looks amazing. All right, you can buy the controller separately, but goddamn, scalpers are gonna have a field day with this. I don't know if this is coming out to like brick and mortar places, you know, like EB Games or JB Hi-Fi or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it on sale anywhere, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a. It says coming soon to participating retailers while supplies last. Now, I haven't seen any participating retailers put up for pre-order yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion that maybe it's going to be primarily available on the Microsoft Store. Which, if that's the case, like I was talking to my wife and I was like, hey, maybe I could trade in my current Series X, you know, take advantage of a trade-in deal in my 40% account bonus for trade-ins at EB Games. Not sponsored, by the way, but maybe I could do that, you know? I mean, it looks really cool. Yeah, I don't need it. I know that, but it looks really cool, right? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to try and make this happen. I'm going to try. No guarantees. It depends on where it's available. Well, I'm not stupid, right? If I can't trade in towards it to bring the price down, I'm not paying full price for this. I'm not doing that. We're not in that world anymore. We're not in that world anymore. I'm not in that world anymore. If this turns out to be $1,200 Australian, you can go to hell. You can go to hell. You can take your beautiful green box and shove it up your ass, right? But if it's something reasonable where I can get a good trade-in deal, and now let's talk, right? Let's talk. But it looks super pretty, doesn't it? Oh boy, it looks super duper pretty. It's just very, very classic Xbox green shell, translucent green shell. That console edition, the Halo edition, right? That's all green. Oh man, like it's what confused me is in the actual presentation. Why didn't they bookend the Halo video with this? Right, they did the Halo thing, and then they put Age of Empires right after it, and then something else, and then the ad for this. Like, come on, who was your marketing person there? Like, just back end those things. Holy moly, missed opportunity. Anyway, what do you think? If you don't have an Xbox right now, here's a good reason to get one and rub it in my face. I'll be super envious, but don't be silly. Don't be silly. Don't get it if you can't afford it. Don't put yourself out for things that you can't afford, all that stuff. Yes, it's super pretty, but it's not worth it if you can't pay your rent and your bills and all that stuff. We're not in that world anymore. The world is a bit tough, and none of it's your fault. You don't owe them any money. This is purely nostalgia bait. Yes, and they've got me. Right? But I'm not going to fall complete victim. No. Anyway, let me know what you think. I think it's awesome. Then we had Nintendo. Nintendo did their thing. This is one of the first things I want to talk about. The rest of it was a waste of time. Could have been an email or a press release. Like it started at midnight, and I stayed up and watched it because that's just what I do. I try and stay up and watch these things because I'm the age that I am, but I still like to get excited about staying up late and waiting for reveals and announcements on a live stream. And I miss the days of E3, the live streams, and you watch all the conferences and stuff like that live. I miss that stuff. So yes, I stayed up at midnight. Yes, I had to work the next day, but you got to do these things, So what do I think about this? Okay, so I own all the Xenoblade games, and here's my thing. I have avoided playing them because I bought Xenoblade Chronicles X when they announced that game was being released on Switch, because that's the one that I've always wanted to play, because I love the whole idea about the big mech, and it just looked awesome. And I've been looking for another JRPG. I know people don't like that term, but anyway, it is what it is. I've been looking for another JRPG that has a series that appeals to me, or that I'd actually want to play, that isn't like one of those other generic, there's so many of them. There's so many of these JRPG games that are just generic characters, anime characters. It's all set in like a European type medieval setting. Like there's all these castles and everybody's in armor and they're all so dramatic and they all look like anime characters and stuff. And there's so many games like that, like East. And I think I mentioned that before, but there's so many, I can't remember the names because it's all so super generic, but there's always one or two in every Nintendo Direct, always, without fail. There's so many. I don't know why. I mean, obviously they sell really well, otherwise they wouldn't keep making them, but something about Xenoblade really got my attention, right? Particularly Xenoblade Chronicles 1, when that was on the Wii, I believe it was. I always wanted to play that as well, but I just never got to it. But here we are. There's a few games in this line that I've wanted to play, and I've been recommended heavily 2 and 3 to play. But when I got Xenoblade Chronicles X, and they announced a Switch 2 upgrade for it, for 4K and 60 FPS, it's like, hot damn, hell yeah, that's great. I'm going to wait for the other games to get it. right? So here we are, like a year later or something like that. And Xenoblade Chronicles has a Switch 2 edition coming out. What now? I think it is. In a couple of days, around when I upload this. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in July sometime, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is towards the end of the year for their upgrade versions. So holy moly, I've suddenly just got a few massive JRPGs on my plate to play. And when I do get to it, they'll be in better versions than everybody else has played. And I haven't played them at all. So I'll have the best versions to play straight up. Right? That's, I'm happy to wait. Right? I used to just jump on everything day one, but I'm happy to wait these days. Right? Not just for sales and stuff, but for better versions of games to play. And here we are. So I'm super looking forward to getting into these. I've heard a lot of good things about them. Hopefully I do end up enjoying them. And it's not one of those times where you wait to play a game series that is super hyped up and it's just not your wheelhouse at all. But I'm trying to play different things, right? So super excited about that. And then they announced a new Xenoblade game after that, which they did unfortunately mention something about. What's it called? Oh, I just lost it. The other Nintendo RPG series, tactical RPG. Oh man, totally forgot it right now. But it's like, Fire Emblem. There we are. I heard someone mention that they're looking to maybe take Xenoblade into a Fire Emblem angle. And if that's the case, that confuses me because Fire Emblem already exists and already has like 100 games. Why do you need to be more like them? I don't know. I don't know all about that yet. I just hear that they're trying to do something different with this new game, and that's okay. Do something different, but we'll see how that goes. It does look cool. I watched the trailer for it. Obviously on this direct, it looks cool. Like they're in like some kind of inverted world where it's like some Inception thing where you look up and you don't see space or sky or anything. You see land and sea, and it looks awesome, man. Like a really cool concept. So I'm keen to see more about that one. And then we get stuck into another reveal. There's two more games I want to talk about. So towards the end, they announced Kingdom Hearts 4 off the back of saying those other cloud-based versions of the collections that you've previously bought, well, now you can buy them again. But they're non-cloud versions. They're Switch 2 versions. Oh, but you can copy your saves over to this new set. Oh, okay, but you want us to buy the games again. Why can't you do an upgrade deal? Like if you've bought the cloud versions, we'll give you a discount, right, for the Switch 2 upgrades so you can play them locally. Like, come on, Nintendo. Honestly, I just think that's a bit rich. Anyway, you can buy the collections on physically or not physically. You can buy the Kingdom Hearts collections and you can play them locally on your machines to the cloud now. Woohoo, awesome. Okay, and then they backed it up with a Kingdom Hearts 4 reveal. Now, for those of you who don't know, the creator of Kingdom Hearts was working on a game called Final Fantasy 13 Versus before Final Fantasy 15 was a thing, right? So some behind the scenes stuff, look into it. I'm going to really try and condense the explanation here, but from my understanding of it, production hell for those Final Fantasy games around that time. Well, Final Fantasy 13 Versus, it was supposed to be on PS3 or something like that, and it just didn't happen, right? And it fell apart, creative decisions or whatever. But it was this dark, like if you look at what Final Fantasy 15 is now, and how it started with Noct and his crew and the kingdom, it was kind of a bit more serious and a bit dark, right? Well, Final Fantasy 13 Versus was that, right? Well, is what Noctis turned into and what that realm of Final Fantasy 15 turned into. But you can find the trailers online of what it was going to look like, and it looks super dark, super serious, and kind of the haircuts and hairstyles and stuff were very Kingdom Heartsy, and but so was Final Fantasy 15. So there's connective tissue there, right? But one of the trailers or one of the cinematics looked like this, right? So you've got this big shadow demon and the characters zipping around the city. The city looks very similar to what you see in like the High Guard, I think it was called in Final Fantasy 15, when Noctis' kingdom. I mean, I love that game, but I just can't remember the name right now. That kingdom, it looks like that, right? So here we go with the Kingdom Hearts 4. It looks like the creator's finally making the Final Fantasy 13 verses that he wanted to make, except it's got Disney characters in it, right? But it looked so much like it. I'm not the only one that noticed it either, by the way. I went online afterwards just to see if I kind of, if I could validate my concerns or thoughts. Yeah, I wasn't the only one. So, and Sora and all the characters in this one look more mature. They look like a Final Fantasy game right now. Those characters, they don't look like cartoon characters anymore. Like they're more serious. So it's as if the creator's going, you know what? I've done like 100 Kingdom Hearts games now. I'm going to make the game I wanted to make this whole time now. Thank you very much. Except, he still has to lean on the Disney brand to get it done, but whatever. But there is a theory around like Sora is what Noctis, or Noctis is what Sora will turn into, anyway, it's just very fascinating. I thought it's funny. I'm happy for Kingdom Hearts fans. This is awesome, right? Good on you. You're going to get a fourth game. I haven't played any of them since the first game on PS2, but I'm tempted to pick up. There's a collection for like $100. You can get the 3 collections on Switch. I'm very tempted to. Whether I'll get them on Switch or Xbox or something, I don't know. But that's awesome to see. That was a big reveal. I thought Kingdom Hearts was done. I thought it was done when 3 came out because there's a bit of production hell around 3 as well. But here we are. And I thought that was it. I thought that was the end of the show. But the biggest reveal was here. Ocarina of Time remake. Pretty massive deal. Pretty big deal. I think it's like the worst kept secret in the industry. One of the worst kept secrets in the industry. But here's the thing. So for me, much like when they revealed Star Fox remake for Switch 2, I've never played Star Fox, right? Never. Did I pre-order the new one? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because I've always wanted to play Star Fox. But let's be real. The graphics were really naff, right? A bit shit, It's like, I love Transformers, clearly. Massive shelves behind me full of Transformers. But I can understand, like, even I can look back at the 80s toys and go, yeah, they look a bit shit, right? They still captured your imagination, but goddamn, they were bad, right? Compared to what we get now. There's a reason why I have all of this behind me, because they're amazing. And I love Transformers. So what am I getting at? My point is, I've always wanted to play Star Fox, but I thought, oh, look, maybe they'll remake it one day. And then I'll pick it up. So, yeah, they remade it. It looks awesome. Looks like a lot of fun. Something different to play. And, I'm going to get into it. So, I had a 64 back in the day. So, the one of those Pokemon Edition 64. And I regret getting rid of that. I gave it away. And I'm not going to say to who, but they didn't appreciate it. I know that much. Anyway, I had a 64 back in the day, and I rented it, and I was sleeping over at a mate's place, and I started to play it because I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm going to play a Zelda game," because I knew people that were older than me that played Zelda. I was like, I'm going to be cool, and it's another Nintendo character because I played Smash Bros. 64, and there's always other Nintendo characters that I remember or haven't played before. And I played it, and I got up to like literally, I got past the village and got out to Hyrule Fields when you're chasing around Hippona or whatever. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do, and I lost interest really quickly and turned it off. I was like, oh, this game sucks. And I never played it again. Never touched it since. Right. But and that's like 15, 20 years ago or something like that. And, I've heard scores of people like praising the heavens that Ocarina of Time is one of the best games made ever of all time. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, that wasn't my experience, but cool. I'm happy for you. Right. So when all this hype is coming around about this game getting remade, I'm like, well, we'll see. Because I played Skyward Sword. I never finished that. I got to like the last path and the last dungeon or something. And I can't remember what happened. I think another game came out and I started playing it and I just never went back to it. The Switch release. And I was really enjoying Skyward Sword. I think that's awesome. I really, really love that game. You really love that game. I'm still waiting for the Twilight Princess remake. I'd be more excited for that one because that one looks really cool, and I've always wanted to play that one. It looked really cool, and it's like dark and a bit serious, and that's what I want. Anyway, where am I going? Yeah. Anyway, so a lot of people are like, oh, they should remake Zelda Ocarina of Time. It deserves a remake, and I understand that. And well, here we are, right? So here I am, like, cool. I'm going to instantly pre-order that because I've never played it. I appreciated Skyward Sword HD. I appreciate what Ocarina of Time is to people, and I think now's the right time for me to give it a go with a remake. So, I'm just like, hey, look, if I have the option to play a game that's heavily revered, but it looks incredibly better than the original version. Yes, the original version exists. Yes, it's charming. Yes, and all that stuff. But if I can play a nicer looking version, right, I'm probably going to do that, right? So here we are. So yeah, I'm going to pre-order the hell out of this, and I'm going to play it, and then I can finally say I've played Ocarina of Time. So I don't know if this will include like the Master Quest or anything like that, right? Or if they're going to do things differently, that they could fix things that people had a problem with the first one, because as much as people say it's not a perfect game, it might be one of the best games ever made, but it's not perfect from what I hear. So let's see if they address all those things, and hopefully it's not just a skin over the top of the original model like Oblivion was. And we'll see how we go. But that's an awesome like reveal though. And oh look, my key light just died, ran out of battery. Awesome reveal though. Very cool. It's something that a lot of people have wanted for a long time, and it makes sense because there's people that aren't my age, aren't your age, right, that have never played Ocarina of Time or some of these older Zelda games. And then new Nintendo fans, new gamers, right? And there's a Zelda movie coming out soon. So it just makes sense for Nintendo to start remaking some of these ancient games, right? Instead of just selling the same game to every generation, put some effort into it and remake them for new fans, new generations, right? Because not everybody likes, like if you could imagine yourself, right? And you're like 8 or 10 years old, and every game that you've played looks either photoreal, super 3D polished graphics, or you know what I'm saying? And then expecting to go, hey son, play this game from the 90s. Yeah, it's got like 12 polygons in it. Your kid's probably not going to get it or understand it, or it's not going to look appealing to them, right? So yeah, Zelda has this timeless appeal. True. But if you sit this ancient game in front of them, more likely they're not going to enjoy it because they're not used to it. Not like you are, right? So it's cool. I'm happy to see Nintendo getting out of their own way and looking to remake some of their older classics, right? I hope they keep doing that. I really do. I don't mind remakes. Honestly, I don't. As long as it stays true, right? Stays true. Gives improvements and enhancements. Hopefully this is like fully voice acted. It's 2026 Nintendo. Fully voice act your goddamn Zelda games, for crying out loud, right? I hope they do that. Like I'm sorry, but we're past the like voices that Nintendo does all the time, or just to hear, hey, listen, like 100 times. Like, no. Yeah, there's a charm for that, but no, come on. Bring it into the current year, please. Anyway. Yeah, I'm all for remakes. Like they did a Gears of War 1 remake that I told you about. I played the remake. The second remake was just a better version of the remake. Anyway, I've played the remake. I haven't played the more polished version, but the remake stayed true. And we even got the PC levels that were left out of the 360 game. Right? So there was a whole extra chapter in the game that I'd never played before. So that was awesome. Right? So that remake was worth doing. Because it looked awesome, it felt the same, it felt just as good, and I got more content out of it. Right? And Halo, the remake that I was just talking about earlier. Like add more content to it, bring it to the current year, and give us a reason to play it. Instead of just like, well, it just looks nicer. Cool, I'll just play the first one then, the original one. Cool. If this one comes out and they remake it and it's going to look like infinitely better than it did on 64, and it's fully voice acted, all right, and it still has the same charm. Like, come on, bring it on. Do more of that, Nintendo, please. And while you're at it, give us a new Wario World. Thank you very much. yeah, cool. So anyway, that's it. That's all I really want to talk about as far as the games and the movie that I saw recently. So let me know what you think. I know I've talked a lot about some games there, but I just really want to talk about it. I know I'm a week late, but it's only been a few days since the Nintendo one. So here we are. Now, let me know what you think about these games. Were there any other games that you thought were cool? I've got a list of other games that I thought were neat that I'm going to check out, if they're on sale or something, but nothing that I really wanted to bring here to really talk about. But yeah, let me know if you pick something out that you think I should have a look at, and I'll check it out, and yeah, we'll go from there. Cool, excellent. All right, let's start wrapping this thing up, eh? Excellent. Yes. Cool. All right. Well, it's almost 7 o'clock on a Sunday evening, and my key light here is just ran out of battery while I was halfway through talking about Zelda or Kingdom Hearts, whatever. So appreciate that. I need to get a new cord and have it like continuously powered like these other lights. Anyway, is what it is. So you can kind of like, I'm just in darkness. Yes. I'm the dog. So I appreciate you having patience with my nonsense and letting me talk some games and movies. Excellent. All right. Well, as we wrap this up, I wish you thanks for your time and including me in your day. Feel free to follow me on my socials. UncleChant.com. It's my website. Uncle Chant on everything else. The main socials, major platforms. You can keep abreast of my current projects and stuff there if you're interested, as well as my website. In the meantime, thanks for joining me here, and till all are one, and may the power protect you. And Skal. Yes. Peace.
In the nebula of dreams and lore, Uncle Chunk's got tales galore. With the mighty beard, a hammer strong, pop culture legends where we belong. Chunkcast roars like a car.